Hey guys, Matt here. I wanted to introduce you to these two little nodes that I've made to make your life a lot easier when you're in painting. And what it does is take a small area, works on it, we process it with whatever model we're using, and it stitches it back in. And the first thing you're thinking is, doesn't that already exist? And yes, it does. You've seen this or maybe used it, the in-paint crop, and its partner node where it stitches it back in. But you can see that there's a lot of features in here. What I've done is shrunk it down to be all automatic and work really efficiently. So this just has the things that I thought I needed and worked it over time, and now I'm making it available on GitHub, or you can install it in the manager, Hallet, H-A-L-L-E-T-T, and it's right here. And the way it works is that we take an area from our image. We're going to change this sign because as faces and text go with AI, when they're small and a portion of the full image, they don't generate properly. So this is going to solve that by fixed sign to say Toronto. We're using an edit model. We're using Flux Klein. And so it's going to crop this area into the range that we have here, make it divisible by 64, show you a little preview. You can delete this preview window once you get this thing working. And then it's going to stitch it right back in and repair our error. Now, what we do is we want to keep working on this. For example, we go into our output folder. Okay, I've got it in a separate window, and I just like to drag the latest one in there that's been repaired, and then we'll just keep editing it. So we'll just say, okay, we got an error here. I'm going to fix some more text, and we'll just say fix sign to say TTT, which is the Toronto Transit Commission, and then you can see it's going to change the size automatically and then stitch it back in. Now this is working in real time because I'm using the 4-step clean distilled version. It doesn't say base. So you can also use 4B depending on your GPU. And I'm using the NVFP4. And if you have a 50 series GPU from NVIDIA, these work really fast with the Blackwell architecture. So definitely want to use that. Then the step up for you guys can try, if you don't have that, try the KV version. And that's also very fast. And then you just have to take this cache node off, okay? And the rest of this models are all the same. This is just the clean workflow that I'm included. Of course, the idea is that this becomes a break between your image and your sampler, and you can see that it's stitching it in over here, okay? I've also included a color match, which you can turn it on and off. You know, it doesn't do a perfect job, but it just gives it that little extra blending. And we have, of course, have feather amount. And if you connect the mask output, then when you make an odd shape, let's say you're trying to fit something in around an object, then it will blend it back in and stitch it back in with that shape of the mask. Okay, and it'll also confeather it. Let's say you drag your fixed image in and you're going to do something like turn to night. Well, I haven't selected any mask, and so it'll just bypass it. Okay, so then it's going to bypass this whole thing, except I'm probably going to have a stitching error if I don't say hard paste. Sometimes you'll just get a little bit of a stitch problem around the corner, so that's why I have hard paste in here. And we definitely don't want a color match to the original. You can see that's trying to force a little daytime LUT onto this. So that worked really well. And now we can come back and we're going to say something like, take this, keep working on it, and we're going to remove this lamppost. So you talked about doing in a unique shape. So now I don't want to remove the other lamps. Remove garbage can. Now we'll see how that sticks. So and remove them all, right? Because we have our masked area. We're going to select our mask feather instead of box, which is the whole bounding box that it creates here. In this case, we're just going to use the mask area, which you can see here in the red. So those are why those two options are included. All right, next for all my architect friends who render in high resolution. I've made a few videos about this, but I'll show it now with this improved workflow. Here we have a 5K rendering, and back then I didn't have there was no AI tools. So I purposely faced the characters away from the camera because they didn't look very realistic. And I was never very good at Photoshop blending people in. So I kind of just put the 3D characters in here. Now there's two things I want to show you. We're going to come back up to our mask. And let's say we want to add someone to, let's say we're going to maybe put somebody in this chair. All right. Now, one thing that's it looks like a problem is that I think the chair looks a little too big, but we'll see how somebody fits in this. So we're going to add a person in, and I'm going to say add woman to chair. Okay, it is that easy. So you can see the masked area. We're just going through, we're going to process, and here we are. We're going to add this woman to the chair, and it's done. So now we're going to add another character. Like that chair is hard to tell, but maybe it's too large. I mean, she looks okay, but somebody with a better eye for this might think, okay, that she looks like the wrong size. So it's okay. The 3D characters are all sized correctly here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy, we're going to take him, and we're going to say, make this man realistic, wearing a dark suit. And I spelled suit wrong. But it understood my bad spelling. Okay, now one of the problems is that what it's doing is it's often trying to enhance the rendering area as well when I do that. So sometimes adding somebody is a little bit easier than it is to convert the 3D characters. But in this case, you might just want to clean that up a little bit in Photoshop and just blend it in, because it's not terrible. But it is, there is a bit of a hard line. So you can fix that with some feathering. All right, just one more example here. We're going to click on the mask, keep that empty space, and we're going to go clear that. And now I want to say, let's try adding some people to this far bench. And, seated people, I always thought were challenging to add manually. Because everything has to fit perfectly. So we're going to say add office workers laughing and drinking pints of beer. All right. So do we have the right area masked? It'll pop up in a second. Does. And there we go. Okay, that actually that looks okay, but they're sitting in they put some chairs. That's funny. They put some chairs. So we're just going to say add workers laughing and drinking beers at the bench and table. So yeah, I mean, not appropriate, but you can see that it's fun to add people this way. I think that's it. You might just have to worry, of course, if you need a guff or any of the memory requirements. You just got to take whatever workflow you have and simply add this and this node in between the save and the load. Okay, and that's really all you have to do, and just connect the stitcher and the mask, and of course your processed image and your original image, and that's it. So again, it works for anything, any resolution, as you can see, and hopefully you guys enjoy this and it works well for you. So you can give me a thumbs up if it does, and thanks for watching. Cheers.